Well, the Phantom Atlas is an atlas of the world not as it ever existed, but as we believed it to be. It's a collection of the strangest and greatest myths, lies, blunders, and delusions that were ever painted as fact on maps. And it looks at the stories behind how they were created and why they were believed for so long, sometimes for centuries. And these are stories of murderous polar explorers, imposters, swindlers, liars, sea monsters, but also some of the lesser known adventures of some of the greatest names in the history of exploration. So these cartographic phantoms can take a real variety of form and size. It can be an entire mountain range. The mountains of Kong were believed in the late 18th and 19th centuries to stretch across the continent of Africa, and on paper were seemingly impassable and dissuaded explorers, despite the fact that there was no visual confirmation for their existence. You also find giant ghost seas like the Mer de l'Ouest, which was shown as taking up a large part of western North America, but even stranger, the inland sea drawn in the centre of Australia, which was part of the British colonial fantasy as to what kind of lush paradise might be waiting in the centre of the desert. There are also, of course, a huge amount of monsters to be found. The Carta Marina of 1539 is this giant, beautiful aquarium of bizarre creatures with great stories behind them, like the duck tree, the sea worm, the sea pig. But just as weird is the map that accompanied the Nuremberg Chronicle in 1493, which shows this gallery of bizarre mythical humanoid creatures believed to exist in distant parts around the world. Creatures like the Cyopods, a race of men with one giant foot who used it to shade themselves in the midday sun. But I also love the story of the Patagonian giants, this European belief as late as the 18th century that there was a native species of man that grew to 9 foot tall and would stalk the Patagonian landscape. That was even confirmed by the Secretary of the British Royal Society in a letter in 1766, in which he wrote to his French counterpart that the existence of giants here is confirmed. But I think the most surprising thing that you learn from these stories is the lifespan that a lot of these phantoms enjoyed, many for centuries. The island of Bermeja in the Mexican Gulf was still being searched for in 2009. Sandy Island off the east coast of Australia was only proven to be non-existent in 2012. So I think today we can have a tendency to feel like the mystery is gone, that we've explored everywhere, that we've found everything. But what you realize from these narratives, these maps, is that as certain as we are of the world around us, there's always more to the story.